beginning does not have to be your end.
Okay, wait. All right, so it's recording now. I'll ask the question again. And do you go by Jojo, Joanna? How do you want to go be approached?
Jojo is fine. That's my nickname. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'll start and then we'll just go from there. Okay. All right, everybody, this is my story, and you are here with Madam and Jojo. And I am so pleased to have you here. Again, I was scrolling through Facebook and saw your title about your story, and I was just really interested and wanted to hear more about it and share your experience, because others may be able to get something to gain from that as well. So we're going to start by my infamous question. Jojo, where does your story begin?
So the pose you're talking about is how I left Christianity and became Buddhist. So it's been like a long 10-year process for me. So I didn't wake up and say, you know what, that's cool. I want to be Buddhist. It's been a very long process, and which is the reason why I wanted to start sharing my story, because you never know who needs to hear it and who you can help. No matter what religion you may follow, it doesn't do myself much of a disservice keeping it to myself. You know what I mean? Why go through something when you can't be yourself and share it with people that you can possibly help, you know? So that's my take on it. Not to bash Christianity. I still have so much respect for Christianity. I still feel that it has its place, and as well as church. So to get to your question, as you probably already know, I started, it was people would say it's a pretty strict background, Pentecostal. So we were
for that. We're from the same hometown. We're actually cousins, and we were raised. My mom went to the same church as you all, a while ago. I don't know if you remember her going there. Probably not. I think she left after a short period of time and went to, I forget the name of the church, but it was Gary Lozado. It was a mixed church culture there, and he ended up leaving. And so I actually loved it. But I remember the church, and it was super strict. It was skirts to the floor. It was super strict and everything. And so it was strict at Pentecostal, I remember.
When it got to a point where as I grew, like if you get saved, then it was, you have to get to a point where no pants, and skirts all the way down to the floor, no makeup, no jewelry. So I thought that's what I had to do. And as you know, all through, I would say, 7th to 8th grade, middle school, all the way until I graduated, that's what I showed to the world, but it really wasn't genuine inside. So I went through that period just so much in conflict with myself. And I really, honestly, I was just really lost.
Really?
And I wasn't really happy. After you get saved, you're supposed to, be happy and joyful and, a new person. But I had to seriously be honest with myself. I am not happy. I am not. So there came to a point where after I graduated, I left the church as well. And I joined another church, which was great. I loved the pastor. I loved the community of the church. And I actually decided to dive more into the Bible and Christianity. So I pretty much was Bible thumping. I ended up reading the Bible, I would say a good 2 times. And then the third time it was for school, you know. But yeah, so I went through that. I had the Greek and Hebrew lexicon, you know, and that there, and then a dictionary there, and the Bible there. So I dove into it. Just the intent wasn't to find something out. It was really to be a good Christian. So that was the intent. So that's what I did. But upon me doing that, it's just some things that just didn't sit well for myself. And I felt that in the Bible, and I'm not going to go through all of that, you know.
Yeah, I understand.
That Bible verse as of yet, and it also leads to just debates that I feel is unnecessary, you know what I mean? Unnecessary. So within that time, I had to face my fears. I had a serious fear of hell. And and
well,
you understand why.
Came from, I see why. I mean, well, that we both, you know, experienced. You obviously were there longer than me, but yeah, it definitely was like Rod. I
had to face my fear. I had to, you know, just knowledge, do some research, hear other people's stories, and I had to face that fear. Because honestly, for me to move forward and with my spiritual path, I felt that even like that fear kept me with Christianity. Just that fear alone.
Fear. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. That's the opposite, right?
Yeah. Perfect love casts out all fear. So how can you actually grow in love if you're fearful? You know?
If you're staying in the religion based off of fear itself of hell. Yeah.
And you see, that's a Bible verse. I can still quote Bible verses because some Bible verses are very true.
Right.
Some things it's just like, you know what I mean? Like I read Ecclesiastic sometimes here and there. You know, I can dive into Islam here and there if I wanted to. I can go ahead and watch a sermon or even Nation of Islam sermon, you know, with Louis Farrakhan. I can do that. You know what I mean? I think for me, it's good to pull wisdom from other places. Like there's this quote by Iro. If you stick or if you don't pull from other places, your own beliefs will become rigid and stale. It's good to know the full view and to understand people. Just to understand people so that you can have a better understanding of your beliefs. So I truly do believe that. So back to my story, right? So I did that research, you know what I mean? And then it got to a point where I would just be sitting in church and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it has to be so much more than this. Like, you know, I can pretty much be on cue. That one's going to get up, start, you know, running around here. That one's going to do that. You know, the organ's going to play this key. It's going to make me want to go, you know. And I was just like, it has to be more. And I started looking at the cross and like, what is this cross? So I had to, like, I even did research on the cross and just to figure that out. And it got to a point where I felt like I could not be in church anymore. So I stopped going to church. And you know, and people have to understand how difficult that is. Coming from the place that I came from, where we went to church every single Sunday, Monday Bible study, Tuesday choir rehearsal, Wednesday another church service, Thursday youth rehearsal, Friday youth service, Saturday workshop, and do it all over again.
All over again. See, I didn't have that experience. I went to church, but when I was in high school and stuff, but I had that experience as an adult. That was my choice. And I got burned out like 2 years. I can't do it.
But I felt like that's what I needed to do. as my duty as a Christian. So for me to say I don't want to do church anymore, that in itself is big.
That's a big.
Yeah, it's pretty big. So I think that was probably the best thing for me to do at that point, so that I can essentially just get to know myself. You know what I mean? Without any type of church, and I just needed to get to myself. Somewhere around that, this is where the turning point has it got to me. So I was in school at that point, you know, still battling with my finances, and I think I just recently I had a really bad breakup with the guy, and I just wasn't really in the best place at all. I was at odds, or just didn't understand where I was gonna go as far as religion. So everything just started to pile on to me all at once. And my mindset then was like, you know, I don't know how I can take this. You know, I wasn't as strong as I am now, but I had, you know, I remember myself in my room, tears, you know, crying. It's like, I'm just lost. I'm confused. And I remember laying in my bed, and I actually was contemplating of like not being here. You know what I mean? So long story short, I was contemplating suicide. Yeah.
I'm glad you did not do that.
Girl, me too. Life is amazing. Yeah, life is amazing.
It's amazing.
So this was about, I would say, I'm 30, I will be 35 in October. So let me just let you know that moment was 23, 24-ish, around there. And I've grown since. But I was laying on my bed, contemplating, tears running down my eyes, and something told me to get up. And something told me to get up and sit down. Prior to this, I like heard about yoga, meditation, and I maybe tried meditation once or twice, and it was just maybe like 2 minutes, and like, whatever, just get up. This time, something told me to sit there and just breathe. So that's what I did. I sat there and took deep breaths, and the anxiety began to fade. Wow. Yeah, it actually just began to fade, and then my thoughts became really clear. And hold on, I don't want to cry.
Don't cry. It's okay. If you want to cry, I'll edit it out if I need to. It's okay. Yes.
You know, I did good in my other video. I didn't cry. I was like, yes, I didn't cry. And now I'm just like,
okay.
You don't have to edit it out.
Okay. All right.
So basically, my thoughts became clear. And either it was a divine message that came to me, but it became very clear. And I began to ask, how did you get here? What's really the problem? And the answer was, you are worrying too much what people would say and how it would look. That's what it came down to. It's like, I want to go this way, but I don't know. I want to go this way, but I don't know. And that I don't know is, I don't know, people are going to look at me like, oh my goodness, you know what I mean? What is she doing? And just chitter chatter. Like, people don't know how much that can affect somebody. And you know that can run rampant in church. You know what I mean?
I couldn't imagine, you know.
And it was like, why am I allowing that to affect me? And like, look where you are now. Where are those people that you know care so much about what they're going to say? They not here. Where they at? They not here. They're not here in this room with you at all. So why are you worried about it?
Exactly.
Why are you so much worried? You're giving people that much power over you, yes, over your life, for you to put yourself into this state.
Right.
Yeah, so
And that's true, because sometimes people you don't even realize it, that you're making decisions based off of what other people think and how they feel.
yeah. And that's what meditation does. It typically brings you to places where you have to really dive to the deeper depths of yourself. Okay. And that's what it did for me at that moment. And that's what it continues to do for me. So I got up. I was like, came to that realization, like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? And that moment birthed the person you see today, the person that's driven and just going after her goals no matter what, because that fear is gone. You know what I mean? So that's where it all came from. That fear is gone. It's like, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to do what I love. I started a photography business because I love photography. So let me just see about that. So I did that. What else did I do? I took dance again.
Did you?
Yeah. I didn't really want to get so much into dance growing up because, of course, Christianity, like that. So I took dance again. That was really fun and liberating. So I took dance again. I was like, I don't want to eat meat. So for about 7 years, I was a vegetarian. Not now, because I love food. I love food, girl.
I'm like, I'm not, because I know you're okay.
I did that. Would have cut my hair, so I became natural.
Yeah.
So if you probably saw all of that, that was that period of me just finding myself. Girl, I started partying.
I learned as far as partying, like for me, I realized early, and I'm glad that I did have my mother, and we talk about it now. She let us have our freedom, probably a little too much freedom. She did. But we knew, okay, we're going to come to the edge, but we're not going all the way over,
That's good.
That we knew right from wrong, but we got a little close. But I was able to get that out early. I'm glad that I did not make huge mistakes, But dance, for going out to the club for me earlier in my life, was because I danced. You guys, that's and that's what that was. It was a release for me. It was
we're eye to eye on that. I love to dance. I'm not partying as much as I did back then, because I would cut a rug.
I dance, like even now, I love it. It's such a release. It's such a great workout. You feel empowered. It's just, I'll be dancing till forever.
Girl, it goes down, especially cleaning.
Oh, really? I love it.
No, it is liberating. So I was just feeling out my freedom. It was really nice to just be free. And during that time, I must say, now, how did I come into Buddhism? So even though I had that moment, I was just, I didn't yet, say, hey, I'm Buddhist. Because me being so much in Christianity and in a strict upbringing, I really didn't want to admit that happened. You know what I mean? And that would mean I would have to subscribe to a religion, and I just really wasn't really sure of where I wanted to go. There was actually a time, because I did read the Quran as well, so there was actually a time where I drove up to a mosque, and I was actually going to join, and I just couldn't. Some just did not pull me out of that car. I just couldn't. I dove into, studied a lot of religions. Even during this time, I, looked into Buddhism a little bit more and read different books of Buddhism. But also the religions of Egypt as well, even Ma'at. I looked into that. And I really just didn't feel at that moment that it was time for me to be, just to say, okay, this is what religion I'm going to get in. The answer around that time was nothing. And that is because I feel like I needed to really find myself without any religion, without anybody telling me anything, just really live my life. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So that's what I did for, like I said, a good 10 years. I would say around a good 10 years, maybe 11. And I went traveling and actually find, and I'm not trying to knock church or anything, but I find fulfillment in traveling more so I ever did in church. Just looking at God's nature, you know what I mean? It just brings a sense of peace.
I know.
Oh,
It does.
to my soul.
On another level.
Yeah, on a whole nother level. So moving forward of how I came to this Buddhism here. So it came to a point where I recognized certain patterns about myself that is ongoing. I wasn't I would meditate here and there, but not consistently. And I recognized these patterns even with relationships and the men that I chose and what I allowed and why I allowed it. So I got to a point where I decided that I was just going to be dedicated to meditation day and night, at least 20 minutes each session. So I did that for a good couple of months. And I learned that during that moment, I learned so much more about myself, about my patterns, just a tremendous amount about myself, just those couple of months. And I was like, I felt a need that, okay, it's time. It's really time because I feel community when it comes to community and religion. I think is really, really important. Or just in total, like a community. I really wasn't part of a community. You know what I mean? I already left the church community. So I felt that I needed that strength, basically.
Yeah.
So I took a look at my life and I was like, who are you? Again, who are you? So I began to just review, like, what is real to me? Meditation is real to me, and it helps. Yoga is real to me, and it helps. And even the first time I read the Dhammapada, that's a Buddhist text, and I was just blown away. Like, it literally spoke to me in my language. And took a look at my tattoos, Buddhist symbols. And stuff, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what is the question?
Right.
This is you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, maybe if I can just, maybe be a Buddhist and Christian. But I was like, wait a minute, what is that? You still worried about what people are gonna say, what people are gonna do?
Right, if you're Buddhist.
You know what I mean? Right. So
Yeah.
I was like, enough is enough. Enough is enough. This is you. And you move forward with that. And since I've done that, like there's called the 4 precepts in Buddhism. I accepted the precepts myself in my own little yoga room. Some cultures have their a ceremony, but I'm not. I just didn't do that. And I joined a Buddhist community. And
Okay.
I joined the Buddhist community, and they have been amazing in helping me, along this journey. And then I joined another community with Black Buddhists, because that's another, another own, because when you're Black, you automatically think that you're Christian. But when you have like a community of these Buddhists, it's like, oh my gosh, you're just like me. You know what I mean? And we can talk about it.
Right.
So that's pretty much what happened. And how I became a Buddhist, and I can honestly say that it's changed my life in so many ways, even just dealing with anxiety,
Right.
Ever get a hold of that growing up. I'm just completely different with that. I'm more cleaner. Like, even that, I recognize that about myself. Like, I can't have a dirty house, whereas before, like, everything was just a mess. So I'm a
Right.
lot cleaner. So I guess it's a type of thing where you get yourself clean, and it's a reflection
Mhm.
on how, your house is. So I guess that is what it is. And the thing about Buddhism, it makes you stronger. The goal with the Buddha or Siddhartha, he's not a god. He's a teacher, and he went through actually something like how I went through. He grew up in a rich household. He was a prince, and then he recognized the suffering among people as he walked along the path. And he began to review his life, and he decided also to leave his wealth and leave his family and just go search really for who he was. And he learned from other masters, meditation and things like that. And he came to a conclusion and created a system how basically to alleviate suffering. So that's the basis of Buddhism. It's really no God. It's for you to give you the tools and the knowledge to help yourself. That's basically the gist of Buddhism. Yeah.
So there's no, because I haven't studied it, I'm Christian, but I haven't studied Buddhism, and I thought, I guess I'm speaking out of ignorance. I thought he was a god, and so he's a teacher. That's interesting. My godmother is a Buddhist. I just, that's all good. But wow, that's interesting. So the goal of Buddhism is to alleviate stress and suffering and things like that. So he saw people that were suffering. And so in what ways? Through meditation or?
For the most part, see, the Buddha went through so many things. He stopped eating. He thought that was something that was going to help him and to find an understanding about that. Basically came to the conclusion that you can still live a life within the world, but still become stronger and basically handling your issues, essentially, and dealing with people. So that's pretty much the basis of it. Now, there's other cultures. See, with Buddhism spread from India, and this happens with all religions, to be honest with you. There's so many different sectors.
Variation.
Yes, so many variations.
So Baptist,
there you go.
Whatever.
So you may see like maybe a culture over here that's maybe like, you're kind of worshiping the Buddha. But that's because, different cultures already had something in place before Buddhism spread. So that's what happens with religion. It kind of, intermingles with what's already there in that location. It just happens, you know what I mean? And since then, there's been different books and, things as such, because there's monks that pretty much held every single thing about the Buddha, and they kept them secluded. And actually, Buddhism goes way further back than Christianity. If we would dive in it to a little bit more, some people may even say that Jesus, during that period where he left before the age of 30, they believe that he went to India and studied in India.
I mean, it's all right there. And so possibly, it's all right there. I feel like religion,
for me, that's like, oh, maybe that happened. I can't say that it did happen. You know what I mean?
There, and I feel like even with Islam, Islamic, there's some parts, of course, biblically in the Christian Bible, like they are parallel in some ways too. So you're right, and I just, it's an intermingling in some.
The Buddha's teachings and Jesus' teaching, they actually intermingle as well. It's there's been a whole bunch of books that actually compared Jesus's teachings with the Buddha, and I thought, thought that was pretty interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. But it's all good. I don't think you would run into a Buddhist who would be like, this is the best religion and you guys are wrong. When you run into a Buddhist, they're pretty much is like, do what works for you. You know what I mean? This is what, yeah, that's pretty much what the community, for the most part, with the Buddhist community, that's exactly how they feel. Even the Dalai Lama, he would say the same thing. And I absolutely believe that. So, there's people that's leaving. I actually saw a video of a guy, he was Buddhist and he went to Christianity. And then I saw, of course, there's people leaving Christianity for Islam, Christianity, all over the place. That doesn't mean that one is right, one is wrong. It just really means that that particular religion just doesn't work for you. And then you want to get into something that actually does.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I absolutely feel.
Yeah, and that's definitely okay. And that's where you are. And, I feel like I love the fact that you've had that period of growth and, you know what I mean, that time to yourself, because we don't do that more. We should do it more. We don't do it enough, where we step back and we take that time for ourselves and we learn ourselves what we like, what we don't like. The simplest things that make up who you are important, because those are the things that are going to carry you through your life. And so I love the fact that you did that, and that you have a sense of yourself. I've seen you grow and elevate, and I love the fact, oh my God, your yoga is just amazing.
I try.
Like, I'm just like, oh, it's really good. I'm like, when I come to New York, look, I need a class lesson, because I want to do I want to, because I work out, but I don't stretch enough. I'm strong, but I don't. Yoga is a whole nother strength. Like, it's a whole nother kind of being able to hold
something position. About that. Let me tell you something about my actual experiences on the mat and even meditating. So I'm pretty sure you know about the experiences you feel at church, and when the Spirit of the Lord comes in the room and you feel so much love, and you may cry. And yes, I've actually had those experiences on the mat.
I want to get into your, like,
on the mat.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into. I'm working on the meditation part. Actually, last year is when, in my spirit, I felt like it was time for me to meditate more. But I've always wanted to do yoga too. So I definitely want to get into that. So I'm going to have to look into it, to that whole, just the meditation. My friend, actually, she does it. She lives like not far from me. She meditates.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say yoga as much, but she does her meditation. She's really with the, oh my God, what do you call it? The points, the lines. Yeah. Does all that and everything. So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can still meditate, you can still do yoga and still be a Christian and still be Islamic.
Absolutely.
It doesn't belong strictly to just a religion, even though those type of things came from India, but to be honest, we can go further back into Africa. And I won't touch on that, but you can go further back into that. What I was going to say? But yeah, it's not subject to any particular religion, and also it's been accepted in the medical world as well, meditation and yoga.
For you.
Yeah, it has been, and even scientifically proven to help you with so many things. So it's something that you can still do, and I know a lot of Christians and I ran into a person at a yoga class, and she was scared to just lay there and breathe because she wasn't sure about spirits or whatnot. So I do believe that fear is an issue in Christianity. Fear is.
It is an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
really feel.
I went to a class with and I know exactly what you're talking about. So it was like, excuse my ignorance, but I'm not, I don't know much about it. But it was like the bowls that you kind of hit. What do you call those bowls? Where the vibrating bowls were a part of it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like it's supposed to vibrate or be, kind of be like one part's for your heart, one is for your. I don't know the name.
Singing
of
bowls is it's pretty much singing bowls, yeah.
Okay, so she was doing these bowls. I'm sitting there laying right on the mat. It was a hot yoga session. I'm laying there on the mat, and I'm just like, okay. Then she gets the bowls out, and I'm just like,
what is this?
What are you doing? And I'm not even gonna lie, like in my own self, I was just like, oh Lord Jesus, please like cover myself, like the whole thing. Like in myself, I'm literally praying, and so I'm just like, I don't want to make a scene. I'm like, oh my God. And so I lay there, and there she goes with the bowls. I'm like, oh my God. And I even had the conversation with her after. I was like, this is what I went through when you were doing the bowls over me. And she's like, oh. I was like, no, it's okay. Nothing happened. Nothing scary happened. I'm perfectly fine. It was just like, why did I go through that again? So I know exactly.
It's just vibrations. Like we are energy.
Yes, we are.
And with music and sound, we are connected. And that's just bringing you to a higher vibration through sound.
Yeah.
That's
it was funny. That was me. That was like,
that's fine. That is fine.
So so if you were to have a group of women right now around you, and they would ask you, tell me how to get through, like, give me some advice. If you were to see them where you were before, and what would you tell them? Like, what, could you tell them to help them to get through moving forward?
Life is a journey. Life is just a journey, and you may feel that you are lost or maybe don't know where to go, but that's okay. And sometimes being lost is looked down on, it's like you're lost, and people may not feel too good about that. But it's perfectly normal, and it is okay, because when you are lost, it's one thing. I call someone being lost like someone that you may see on S5, like, and they're not in their mind and they're actually lost. But thank God that you have your right mind. For one, you're not lost. And when you're in that state, that is when you take a really deep look at yourself and just allow love to be your guidance. And when I say allow love to be your guidance, I mean to do what you love. Gravitate to people who love you, and just start being creative. That helped me as well. Maybe you want to be creative and get back into dancing or whatever it may be.
It helps.
Right, it absolutely helps. And then you may figure out like, hey, okay, maybe I want to go this route. Or hey, I may want to go this route. And it may actually take you years, but that's okay. You know what I mean? It takes some time. You just have to experience some things. That's just it. You just have to experience some things and go through the fire in order to get you into a good place. And also to just make sure you get a good group of people around you. So you may need to leave some friends behind. Sometimes you just have to do that. My friends have been really great. I am really blessed. They have been really great. Some family members, not so great. But my friends have been really great. But start to do that. Start to make sure you're surrounded by positivity. That also may mean to take some time for yourself. Just no one around. Stop going out. Stop. Just make sure you get into that place where you have enough time for yourself. Because we live in like the Western world, you constantly are on the go. Go, 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 go. Work, kids, you know what I mean?
My goodness.
Right. So that is very important. There's a concept in Buddhism. It's called the middle way, and you may hear about similar things in different areas. But basically, the way they like to break it down is there is a teacher and a student, and the student is learning guitar. So the teacher asks, what happens when you string a guitar too tight? It breaks. What happened when you string it too loose? You can't really play it. So in order to tune a guitar, you have to get it just the right, strength or amount in order for it to play beautifully and in tune. So that's what it means, the middle way. Not to be overly, crazy about something, and not to just be, nonchalant about certain things. If only you can find that middle way where you can balance out your life so that you can be happy. That's where you want to be. So really, I think that's what the journey is for everyone, is just really finding that middle way to essentially be happy.
I totally agree. And I like what you said. It's never too late, and it may take a little longer for someone to realize, this is what I need to do for myself. I need to take some time and step back and, move forward, with who I am and, those things. So I totally agree with that. It's never too late. And I just want to is there anything else that you want to say that you haven't said, or anything that I didn't?
That's mostly it.
I love it.
I'm just really, I'm glad you reached out so I can explain it a little bit more to people. I think it's really dope when a Christian actually just wants to sit down and hear you out. You know what I mean? Instead of, because I've gotten that already. Somebody just sent me a whole bunch of scriptures. I'm just like, girl, I was just like,
I like when I get a whole bunch of scriptures now, if I'm in a certain place or state or whatever, the mind is like, don't do that, even when my like, Mom.
It's coming from a good place, but
yeah.
I just like when Christians just want to see, hey, what's going on? And I actually saw a sermon online. It was a pastor, and he had a conference about Buddhism. And he broke down Buddhism. He had a speaker, a Buddhist, come in to speak, and he just wanted people just to have an understanding about the Buddhism so that they can, have a good view of Christianity. And I thought that was really dope.
Yeah.
So I think my wish is just for not just Christians, but for the world to be more accepting of each other's religion and beliefs, because in all, it's just whatever makes you happy, and let me worry about what's gonna happen in the afterlife. I'm fine. I'm not. Don't damn me to hell. Ain't no hell over here. You know what I mean? I had to fight that growing up. Don't be trying to. I shut it down fast. No.
You. How you do?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just I'm just elated, and I feel a sense of freedom to be open and speak about it.
That's
and,
really.
I just really hope that my story does help someone, because you never know who needs it or who's actually in that place that I was in. You know what I mean? And maybe they tried different things or went to different people and they just really couldn't get to a good place of understanding. And they may watch my video and like, oh my gosh, thank you. You know what I mean? So that's what it all comes down to. And not to bash anybody's religion.
No,
for all religions.
because you're a person behind all the religions and the beliefs and all that. You're a person. I'm a person.
Yeah.
We both have feelings. We both have, you know, soul. We both have these things. Beyond that, it's about the person. And so thank you so much. And I believe we will help someone and will help somebody. And I'm grateful to be a part of that journey. So thank you so much. Jojo, do you have any social media or anything you want to put in here?
Oh yes, so I'm on Instagram, Yoga Queen Jojo. That's my personal page. It's the same thing for Facebook. I do have a business, and that's another thing with Buddhism. That's how I know I changed. Is I actually quit my job so I can work full time on my business and do 1099 work. Awesome. Years ago, if I would have did that, I would have been going crazy, girl.
Awesome.
And I'm just so at peace, and I know everything's going to be okay. But it's the company is Self Love Yoga, and is my social media handle for Self Love Yoga is at my Self Love Yoga. So basically, what that is just me, of course, promoting yoga and helping people, you know, build their self-worth, their self-love through yoga, since it actually has done that for me as well. You can also go to myselfloveyoga.com, and you can even become a member. I do offer free yoga sessions as well on Wednesdays, and you can also buy into a membership to have categorized yoga videos and so much more.
But that's amazing. Thank you so much for coming on My Story, and I will be posting this. I cannot wait to post this next week.
Yay!
And yes, so thank you so much, Jojo.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. I wish you well on your journey, okay?
Girl, I wish you well on your journey. I am so for, you know, it's really hard to get yourself out there sometimes, and sometimes you just feel like you're alone in this. Just to let you know, you're not alone, girl. And I am rooting for you. Let's root for each other, girl.
I know. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.